Bet you didn't know there's a place where Kentucky football and basketball fans unite. Welcome to Big Blue Breakdown. Whether you bleed blue or just love a good game, we've got the latest stories, hottest takes, and a whole lot of hometown pride. Hit play and join the conversation. This is your home for all things Kentucky sports.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? How is the audio sounding now? Can we hear me now, Dustin? Well, maybe we just have to redo that intro right there. It's all good. Hopefully you can hear me now. I think I just fixed it. Can everybody hear me now? Okay. Thank you so much for letting me know. So I'll just go ahead and restart here. This is episode 40. Thank you, Dustin. This is episode 40 of the Big Blue Breakdown. Thank you guys, everybody that is coming in here. Thank you, Dustin, for letting me know. We are going to be reviewing the 2024 tight ends, 2025 tight end preview, the 2024 wide receivers, and then the 2025 wide receivers preview. We are trying to hit a goal of 51. That will be, we are at 51 right now. And again, trying to hit a goal of 500. As you can see right here with this graphic. Again, thank you, Dustin. But yes, trying to get to 500 here. It'd be big if you guys could like, subscribe. And you can find us on TikTok, X, Instagram, obviously here on YouTube and Spotify. We're going to be posting clips and everything, guys. I post my my SEC teams game-by-game predictions on YouTube Shorts and on TikTok and X. So go check those out if you want to hear my thoughts on other SEC teams. Maybe your favorite team. Does not matter. What's your favorite team? Just go ahead and comment down below. Like if you have a different team and if you want my comments on them, I am more than happy to talk about them. But we're going to go ahead and quickly jump into our sponsor, Dubby. Go ahead and use code BIGBLUE10 for 10% off your order on Dubby. Go check them out, guys. And we're going to go ahead and jump into our Dubby promo video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll be right back. Hello, everybody. We wanted to take a break in this episode to tell you about our friends over at Dubby Energy. Dubby is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like any other energy drink. Some facts about Dubby. Number one, it's zero sugar, artificial colors, or dyes, or hidden ingredients. It is also gluten-free. Number two, all flavors are unique and custom made by Dubby. You'll never taste anything like a Dubby drink. Number three, the drinks are $1 or less, guys. That is cheaper than Starbucks or any canned drink. Lastly, it is made in the U.S. It is close to home. Guys, if you guys are looking forward to going to a Kentucky football game or Kentucky basketball game and you need some energy, get W. W is the perfect thing for you working out. And you need some energy. You need W. You need W throughout the day. It is for you. Use promo code BIGBLUE10 to get 10% off every single order, guys. It not only just helps you guys be able to have a clean energy drink that you can use all the time with the tubs that they give you. It helps me and it helps the channel keep growing with you guys. If you guys do that, it helps us post more content and helps them, guys. So it's a win-win-win for everybody. But thank you guys so much for your time here. Please go check out Dubby. Check out their website. And when you are about to purchase something, use promo code BIGBLUE10 to get 10% off your order. All right, welcome in, everybody, back into the episode here. Again, we have 51 subscribers. Thank you to everyone that has subscribed up into this point. Again, we are trying to hit a goal of 500. It'd be really, really nice if people are new on here and hit that subscribe button as well. Okay, jumping into our first topic of this episode, our kind of different segments here. We have the 2024 tight ends, and then we will jump into the 2025 tight ends who we brought in from the portal, and I'll give you my rundown on these guys and my grade. And then is it an improvement from last year, or is it a step back from last year? So let's go ahead and talk about the 2024 tight ends. Okay. In 2024, there was really only 3 guys that had major production from last year, and that is Josh Caddis, Jordan Dingle, and Willie Rodriguez. Josh Caddis had 6 receptions, 77 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 12.8 yards a catch. Jordan Dingle actually ends up transferring to the University of South Carolina, where last year he had the most amount of catches in the room, but had the least amount of yards with 71. And he also had 1 touchdown and averaged about 8 yards a catch. Solid guy, and this is a guy that entered the transfer portal, and I believe was about to be on his way to Tennessee in 2024, going into 2024. That was really interesting, where he had entered the portal and then exited the portal to come back to us. So that was interesting to see, and now he's gone again technically. And then last year we had freshman Willie Rodriguez. Obviously, he is a sophomore now, but he had 5 receptions, 94 yards, and he didn't have any touchdowns, but he averaged 18.8 yards a catch. He showed absolute amazing signs last year of being a absolute tremendous wide receiver for the Cats, and somebody that they are looking forward to in the future, and somebody that they are looking forward to just possibly being a breakout star. Again, he showed amazing flashes. He had that tremendous hit in the Ole Miss game, where at the very beginning of the game, where he caused a fumble. Technically, it wasn't a fumble. The guy jumped back on it. Not jump back on it. His knee was down, I believe, or his elbow was down. He had possession at the time, but he brings a lot of juice. Him and Cutter Boley hooked up a lot in that Texas game last year, and we got to see him be very, very good. But the tight ends in the last couple of years simply haven't been utilized. Simply have not been utilized. And I am hoping with this new group that we have, we can actually utilize the tight ends to be a weapon in this 2025 offense. And not just like instead of them just being out there and being the third option every single play, what about we have them as a one or two option here and there, so it makes it easier as on our wide receivers and on our running backs to go make plays. And I believe if you're able to include them and they are productive, they can only take a step forward. But looking back at the 2024 tight ends, you only have one departure technically from this room that had production from last year. Kentucky loses 29% of their yards from last year. This is really just talking about Jordan Dingle. Kentucky loses 33% of their catches from last year in this tight end room. This is not talking about their total catches. This is just talking about their tight end room. Kentucky loses 47% of their touchdowns from last year. Obviously, the tight end room only gathered 3 touchdowns from last year, and that's what I'm talking about. They have definitely been underutilized in the past 3 to 4 years, and it's something that the Cats really need to improve on. And hopefully, with Bush Hamden, he utilizes a guy like Willie Rodriguez or a guy like Josh Caddis, and we'll obviously get to them, but you don't lose a ton of production from this room. You have some really, really solid pieces coming back. You only lose really one guy that had production from last year in this room. So, and it's not that big of a loss. So we can go ahead and jump into the 2025 tight end room. Okay, it's kind of a loaded tight end room. And I'm not saying all of these guys are going to necessarily play. Okay, I'm not saying that they're all necessarily going to play. I think Willie Rodriguez is going to be our number one guy. I think he is. All right. I think Josh Caddis is going to be our number 2 guy in that room technically. I think they're both going to be out in the field a lot. I think we're going to run a lot of 12 personnel sets. And Josh Caddis is a solid blocker. Now, looking at the guys that we brought in, not the guys that we have returned here, but looking at the guys that we brought in, Elijah Brown, he only had 1 reception in his 2024 season. I believe he's coming from FAU. Yeah, Florida Atlantic. FAU. He only had 1 reception for 22 yards, but he got injured last year and basically was out the entire season. This is a guy that was an absolute high recruit coming out of high school, and he's going into his junior year. You still get him maybe for a couple of years. I think he adds solid depth to this tight end room for sure, and you can put him out there if need be. A huge frame of 6'6", 258. I believe with his size and I think his skill, he can make something happen. It's just the production obviously wasn't there last year because of an injury. Keeping him healthy will be very, very big. And then you look at the guy who has 0 catches, 0 yards, 0 touchdowns, which isn't his whole career stats, guys. This guy is not coming here to really catch passes. Henry Boyer, I just butchered that really badly. Henry Boyer is a 6'6" tight end, 265 from Illinois, and he is a run blocker, guys. He is a run blocker, and that's what he came here to do. Like, he's not here to set up in the slot or set up in the outside like somebody like Willie Rodriguez might do. He is going to be a run blocker. And maybe you can utilize people not really respecting him down the field, so maybe you sneak him out from the tight end position here and there to go downfield and make a catch. But he is a run blocker, guys. And it's that simple. He is here to bolster up that offensive line that I think is going to be much improved from last year, actually. I think he's going to bolster that up. And I believe, if need be, maybe 2 to 3 times in the year, we can go to him maybe on a 3rd down where we need him. He's obviously a huge target, and he's caught a couple of passes in fall camp as of what we have seen. Um, he's going to be out there to run block. Simply. Okay, we got our comment from Dustin here. Mikael Center is a really nice guy. Talk to him on social media. He's a stud that can truly be a receiver if they want him to. He played some wide receiver in high school. Yes, let's go ahead and just get back to him real quick. Let's go ahead and talk about him. Guys, this guy was an absolute stud in high school. I know it's kind of hard to see with the graphic here, but looking at him right here, this is what his high school. This is what he did in high school and what he was ranked in high school. Okay, he was a 4-star recruit by Rivals, 247 and 247 Sports composite, 4-star. He was considered the number 2 overall recruit in the state of South Carolina in the 2025 class by 247, and the number 10 tight end on On3. He is 6'4", 231. This is a high-level get for the Cats. This is a top 10 tight end in the class. This is a high-level get and the number 2 player coming out of South Carolina. I don't know how much he is going to be used this year, but just looking at this room, we are deeper than last year, and I think we are more talented than ever in the Stoops era. Hear me say this. We are more talented ever in the Stoops era at the tight end position. Willie Rodriguez, I think, is going to be an absolute stud. People are saying he's going to be our best option on the offense. Now, I don't know if I truly believe that, but he can be. He's got that juice to him, and he's got that catching ability. Josh Caddis can kind of be in the middle of being a pretty solid pass catcher and being a good blocker for us. Henry Boyer is out there to block. Maybe you can leak him out sometimes, but he's there to protect the quarterback. But yeah, I think they're gonna be solid there. I truly do. I think our depth is better than ever at this position. I like it right now for us. If we go back to it, I think the Elijah guy, Elijah Brown just adds more depth and he adds some talent definitely to this position group right here, to this tight end position group. Yes, I like it. Looking at some of the numbers here, Kentucky returns 71% of their yards. Kentucky returns 77% of their catches. That is a big number to look at here. And I think you just look at maybe the numbers of like recruitment and everything. I think this is a really, really talented tight end room that we have. Okay, and not all these guys are built the same. And I think that means an absolute ton. Let Mikael get a year under his belt under the Bush Hamden system. We get our core group back, and also our OC excited about this year in the field. Yeah, I am too. And I've been saying this about just the general state of the program right now. Dustin, thank you so much for commenting. If you are able to have a 5 to 6 win season and hopefully be getting back to a bowl game, right? You then at that point return a lot of guys, and including guys like Skinner, including guys like Rodriguez, Cutter Boley. High-level recruits coming out of high school, proven production under and have continuity under the OC. Eric Wolford, Fanatics show. Tight ends are a quarterback's best friend. Yes, guys, I was just on their show today, Vol Fanatics show. They have an absolute tremendous show talking about Tennessee football, and they have really, really good coverage, really, really good breakdowns. even as a Kentucky fan, I love to go over there and watch their stuff. They are very, very good at what they do, guys. Go check them out. Go sub to them. They read out my comment basically every single time I asked something or said something. Very, very nice guys over there. Go check them out. But thank you guys so much for joining in this show, Volfanac Show. Means a lot here. But yeah, like as you say, like a tight end is they're so elusive in what they can do, and if you can have solid ones, I think they also take pressure off of the wide receiver and the running back room, and add a different dimension to an offense that Kentucky has not had. So you see some of the struggle. You see the struggles Kentucky has had. We're not shying. I'm not shying away that Kentucky has had some legit struggles in the last couple of years on offense. And a lot of that boils down to the offensive line, which is obviously the most important group on the offense, because if they're bad, it makes everybody else look bad and can be bad. But if you have a solid group there, right? Let's just say we have a solid group. Let's say we have a solid foundation. Let's say that we are okay there, okay? Let's say that we are okay at the O-line position, and Zach is not constantly under pressure, and the running backs have some nice runway. But let's just say they're solid. Let's say they're about middle of the pack in the SEC. All right, let's say that. So now you add the tight ends. Kentucky has not had a tight end be legitimately productive in I don't know how long. I don't think we've seen a tight end since C.J. Conrad. C.J. Conrad back in 2018 have a really solid season for the Cats. And now if you can utilize these tight ends that I think are going to be pretty solid and very, very talented, you add a dimension to your offense, and maybe that frees up some of the running game. Maybe that frees up some of the rest of the pass game. Maybe it does. And I can definitely see that happening. I want to go ahead and jump into my tight end grade. If you guys were to go ahead and give a grade of the tight ends, A through F, like a grading system, A through F, what would you have? And do you think the Cats, as a group, have improved last year? Yes or no? This is what I have. I have the Cats tight end room as a B+. Okay. And do they improve from last year? Yes. Let me name you off a couple of reasons. I think we are deeper here. I think we have the potential star power in Willie Rodriguez. And number 3, I think we are more talented than we have ever been here in a very, very long time. So the simple answer is yes, and a B+. I don't think it's an A. I do not think it's an A right now. I don't think we have that type of star power right now, unless like Willie Rodriguez or Josh Caddis just absolutely explodes, or maybe somebody like a Mikael Skinner absolutely explodes. But as of right now, I would say it's a B+. And the reason it's just coming from what we had last year to this year is how I kind of grade it. And I think just with the depth that we have here now and the talent, I believe it is a B+, and it's an upgrade for sure. Okay, if I would rank, I don't think I'm gonna do a ranking of this, but if I would rank the tight ends, yeah. Again, like, thank you, Dustin, for commenting. He comments, B+ is good with me for now, too. Yes, it is good for me for now, but it can only live up to its B+ potential if we actually utilize it. We have the guys here now, okay? There's no doubt about that. We have the guys. We have the talent. We have to be able to utilize these guys. And if we can't do that, like, what's the point of it? You know what I mean? So we have to be able to utilize these guys. And use them in ways and not just run blocking, really. But yeah, I think there's no excuse now to not use them. Obviously, with Vince Marrow gone, people are gonna be saying that we don't have any tight end room because he was our tight ends coach. But I don't think that's fair at all. But I am a fan of this group, and I think they can do something special if they are utilized correctly. We move on to the 2024 wide receivers. Okay, the 2024 wide receivers. So I just want to go ahead and jump into the numbers here, okay? Kentucky loses 66% of their yards from last year, okay? Kentucky loses 64% of their touchdowns from last year, and Kentucky loses 73%, which is an absolute ton of their catches from last year, guys. This is, you want to talk about losses on this team? This is going to be the biggest production loss for sure from the Cats. Last year, Jamari Macklin had 13 receptions, 313 touchdowns for 313 yards, not touchdowns. Good Lord. 4 touchdowns and 24.1 catches. I will get to him specifically moving forward in this live here. Thank you guys so much for joining in here. It means an absolute ton. Thank you for the people that have commented. Again, means an absolute ton. Barrion Brown transfers, going to LSU. He was really, really good his freshman year with Dan Key. Had some sophomore slumps and was okay last year. 29 receptions, 361 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 12.4 a catch. Anthony Brown-Stevens goes to Tulane with John Summeroff. 5 receptions, 77 yards, 2 touchdowns, 15.4 yards a catch. And then you had Dan Key, our number 1 wide receiver, transfers out to go to Nebraska with our wide receivers coach in DeKel Shorts. Guys we have in right now. Damian Washington. I actually really, really like this guy. He's here to change the culture of the wide receiver room, and I think that he has done a good job with that with the guys that he has brought in. We'll get to them in just a second, but he had 47 catches, 715 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 15.2 a catch. Excuse me for some water really quickly. We move on to Fred Ferrier and Harley Gilmore. Fred Ferrier had 13 catches. He was a transfer from UAB. 126 yards, no touchdowns, 9.7 a catch. And then Harley Gilmore, this guy has absolute amazing potential, can be very, very good for the Cats moving forward. And this year, he actually transferred to Nebraska with Dan Key in the offseason. Had some in-house issues there, as me and Mr. J. Hayes talked about. Leaves, decides to come back. Okay, this guy is very, very talented. Was a high-profile recruit for the Cats. Is hardly a sophomore this year. Dustin asks, I believe he is. Yes, he is a sophomore this year. These grades right here are this year. Yes, he is a sophomore this year. He had 6 catches, 153 yards, 1 touchdown, 25.5 a catch. A catch. That's insane right there. Thank you guys for all 9 people that are joining in here. But yes, Dustin Harley is a sophomore this year. So to dive into these guys more, again, you lose 66% of your yards from last year. You lose 64% of touchdowns from last year. You lose 73% of your catches from last year. That is an absolute flip of wide receivers right here, as we're going to get into. even though we may not be as good as last year with our talent at our wide receiver and maybe the stars at wide receiver, it's needed to happen. A culture change needed to happen, and it may not obviously affect us great in this first season, but I think it could affect us positively moving on. But this change really needed to happen for the Cats in a culture change, as I was talking about, like with LaDainian Washington being that guy that can create that change in the culture here. And even though you get rid of you, Harley Gilmore transfers out, he transfers back in, and I think they're trying to get him back on track with just hopefully being more mature, simply being more mature. So I want to go ahead and move on to we lose a lot. It's simple. It is simple. We lose an absolute ton at the wide receiver position. We go out and we get some guys. Let's go ahead and talk about them. The 2025 wide receivers preview. 2025 wide receivers. Kentucky brings back 44% of yards from last year. We got a comment here from Dustin. I'm going to go ahead and read it. Stoops has done an amazing job of making this team come around compared to what he had in the offseason to now is just mind-boggling to me. He's done a great job, in my opinion. Yes, yeah. Just a side note here. Mark Stoops has brought up this program. It's simple. Mark Stoops has simply brought up this program. And when we were the absolute bottom of the SEC. And yes, the expectations were high in 22, in 23, and you have some disappointing years. I pause. You still go 7-6 in those years. 7-6 in those years. You still make a bowl game in those years. You still have some pretty cool moments from those years. It had solid teams compared to what Stoops started with, winning 2 games, and now you're 8 years in a row making a bowl game. The consistency has been there. People want to say that's a bad year. That's a disappointing year because of preseason expectations. That's technically not a bad year overall as a Kentucky fan. In last year, technically, people want to say it was a down year, and it was. You go 4-8. That's a big step from going 7-6 years, a couple years in a row to now going 4-8. That's a bad season. To me, you have one bad season, right? You have one bad season. So, yes, he has done a great job. Thank you, Dustin. He has done a great job. Now can he get back to that success? And a lot of it revolves around the 2025 wide receivers. Kentucky brings back 44% of their yards from last year. Kentucky brings back 44% of touchdowns from last year. And they bring back 33% of their catches from last year. These aren't amazing numbers. These aren't horrific numbers like in the 20s or in the 30s. It's not the greatest, but it's obviously not the best. To me, the strength of this group right here, sorry for my mic cutting out, the strength of this group right here is going to be their quality of depth. Simply, it's going to be their quality of depth, guys. You look, to me, wide receiver 1, to me, Jamori Macklin, returning from last year, 13 catches, 313 yards, 4 touchdowns, wasn't utilized correctly last year, was put in the slot when he should be an outside receiver. I think they move him back to the outside. I think Bush Handon utilizes him correctly this year, and I think he becomes that deep threat that we need. And I think he elevates from last year in the number of catches that he has. And he's going to have a couple games, guys, where he just completely goes off. And he's going to have a couple games where he only has a couple catches. That's the type of player that he is. Okay. Then you move on. Number 2 wide receiver to me, in my opinion here, Kendrick Law will be playing in the slot. A transfer from Alabama, 10 receptions, 105 yards, 1 touchdown, averaged 10.5 a catch. He was also on return duties for the Alabama Crimson Tide. This guy has legit speed, guys. He has an amazing run blocker on the outside there, so he adds some of this culture that the Cats are looking forward to, and this is going to be a gadget guy, wide receiver screens guy, a jet sweep, an end around. You can use him in multiple ways. The biggest thing, did you know Harley Gimmer was 17 years old? Yeah, I did know that. And it's tremendous to me. I know you have the Ryan Williams of the world, who was like tremendous last year, and that's an absolutely absurd thing. But yeah, I didn't know he was 17 last year, and yeah, I remember them saying that it was a certain game that the guy said that number 17, because he wears that because he is number 17. Yeah, and it's tremendous to me that the production that he had last year, even though it was a small sample size, being 17, playing in the SEC quite frequently, even though he broke his collarbone at the very, very beginning of the season, I think he would have had a lot more chances. So yeah, it's pretty daggone cool. Pretty daggone cool there. Like Kendrick Law, you're going to be used as a gadget guy. Some say this is going to be our number 1. I think it's Jamori. That's just my personal opinion. Kendrick Law can be that. And I think he can possibly be a deep threat. It's just, what's his flaws? It's just his route running. He's not a crafty route runner as of right now. But he is going to be used as a gadget guy. Absolute tremendous speed if you get the ball in his hands. So I think they're going to try to find a way to get the ball in his hands. Give me a second for water. Thank you. Sorry. Had to grab some water real quick. We are 45 minutes into this. So, probably going to need some water breaks, just like that. But we move on. Okay. And these guys, I think 3 is Troy Salato. I am a absolute huge fan of Troy Salato. I think he will also play in the slot on the opposite side of wherever Kendrick Law is. This guy is arguably our best route runner and the best hands on the team. This guy is going to be used in short to intermediate routes. He's not a really big deep threat. He killed us in the ball game when we played his past team in Clemson. He had 25 receptions, 264 yards, and 1 touchdown last year. He dealt with some injuries last year and still had some really, really daggone good production. He's going to be used to short intermediate game, so he gives you that reliability there on a 3rd down 3 if we need a pass. So he's that short and intermediate guy. Then you have a gadget guy in Kendrick Law, and then you have a deep threat in Jamori Macklin and a really good route runner there as well. You talk about possibly our best deep threat in the way that he could use his speed is going to be Hardley. It's going to be Hardley, and the way that he can use his speed, he can go up and make a play. His athleticism is nice. I think Jamori is going to be more of a vertical threat, while Hardley obviously can be that, but he's going to take you deep, and he's going to the type of guy to run a post and get open like that, or a deep comeback. But this is him and sorry, I'm blanking on his name right now. Him and Jamori are going to be your take off the top type of guys. Okay, take off the top type of guys. And Kendrick's a guy that's played in the SEC. Jamori now is a guy that's played in the SEC. Harley now is a guy that's played in the SEC, has the experience, has the talent to do it. So, yes. There's a bigger personnel and more ways of opening the playbook this year with the new wide receivers. Yeah. I think a big reason to that, Dustin, is going to be the depth of this wide receiver room. Whoever is on the field, they're gonna have to cover them just because they're so solid. They're not superstars to get anything mixed up here. They're not superstars, but they're good enough where you have to put a solid guy on him, or they're gonna beat you. And I think now you look at the wide receiver room. There's a chance where we can beat you with numbers out there. You put your cornerback 3 on Troy Stellato, and he just gets absolutely routed up in a short intermediate pass, and then he gets some yak consistently. I like that. I think numbers is a big thing here in this wide receiver room. I just don't know if there'll be a number one guy, but I think all these guys have different things that they bring to the table. And everything that a good wide receiver room needs is guys that bring different things to the table. And as I go back to this here, in Kendrick Law being the gadget guy, Jamari Macklin being the guy that can take it off the top, and being that intermediate to long game where he can be a very, very good route runner. Same thing with Harley Gilmore, but I believe Harley is a little bit more athletic. Then you look at Mr. Consistent right here. Fred Ferrier with 13 catches, 126 yards, no touchdowns, 9.7 yards a catch. Think he takes a step up. I am a big fan of him. This is a guy that's, to me, in the short to intermediate game, I think him, Stellato, and Macklin are our best route runners, period. Dustin says, I also really like Troy, saw his tape, and he's that sneaky guy that likes to cut across the middle. Reminds me a lot of Ladd McConkey. Yeah, I agree with that there. Again, he's going to be your short to intermediate guy, the guy that'll take you on a stick, a guy that'll take you on a slant, and be very consistent right there. It's basically an extension of the run game. So I think just because we are going to be a run-heavy team, that's going to be an extension of. I want to say he's about an intermediate to short guy. I think. Have we lost? Hello? Okay. Oh, it's all good, Dustin. It's all good, man. Make sure everybody can hear me. It is all good. But goodness, I thought I just lost everything that I said right there. It's all good. Thank you to all the 14 people that are in here right now. That is pretty daggone awesome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in right here. But in this episode, we're talking about the tight ends, and the wide receivers. Hopefully, the audio is good here. Okay. So moving on here to a Fred Ferrier. Want to talk about him really quickly. I think he's going to be really, really good. In the intermediate to short game. I'm getting text that it's cutting in and out. Can you guys hear me good? Let's see. We have a problem here. Let's see that real quick. Are we better now? Hopefully we are. Tell me if it keeps cutting in and out. Is this better? I'm not going to touch the mic here. Is this any better, guys? Hopefully it is. So sorry about this. Usually, it's never a problem with the microphone. It's always a problem with the camera. But we got that solved, and I'm uh, happy about that. See, I gotta figure this out here. All right, you guys are saying that's good. All right, hopefully that is better. Good. Hopefully we are good now. All right. Get back to Fred Ferry here. All right. We've had a good episode here. I know the start wasn't that great, guys. I know the audio seems to be cutting in and out. Promise one day we're gonna have a good show. A, a show where we don't have a show where we don't have a ton of mistakes like this. Okay, going back to Fred Ferrier. He's a very, very good route runner. Um, um, in the intermediate to short game. I truly believe that, and I think he can be solid. He's not going to be the guy to take it off the top, take you deep. He's not going to be that. He's going to be a guy that runs, a 10 to 15 yard slant, a 10 to 15. So he's really an intermediate guy to me. Stays around that intermediate spot, for sure. So go ahead and give you JJ Hester. This guy's a deep threat for sure, and he can be a deep threat and a gadget guy. Simply, he can be a deep threat and a gadget guy. He's got tremendous size as a transfer from Oklahoma. 14 receptions last year, 315 yards, 1 touchdown, and average about 22.5 yards a catch. He stands at 6'5", 203. So this is your biggest guy. This is your biggest target in the wide receiver room. Tight end room. You can throw out there maybe a guy like Henry Boyer. I know he's supposed to be a run block first guy, but for sure can't throw him out there. But he's an absolute big body right there, standing at 6'5" as a wide receiver. And he showed flashes of being very daggone good. And I think he can be solid. He can take it off the top. I just don't see much in his short to intermediate game, but he's going to be a guy that can take it off the top and be a guy like a gadget. So it's kind of like take it off the top / gadget where you can move him around in those areas right there in the playbook. And then you have Ashton Kozart and Montavian Quisenberry. Quisenberry is a freshman that has apparently shown signs of being very, very good. So you might see some of him because we were so deep. He was a big time recruiting win in the state of Kentucky. Believe he went to Boyle County, stands at 5'10", 170. And I know he's kind of a smaller guy, but apparently his athleticism and the way they use him with his speed has shown he's a pretty daggone good route runner. So the depth is here, guys. And Ashton Kozart, who's my biggest sleeper in the wide receiver room, Dustin Cross. Man, that is a really, really hard question, Dustin, because we're so deep, and there's a lot of guys that I can pick through that aren't big names in the SEC. I'm gonna cross out Jamori because these are the bigger names here. Kendrick, Troy. You can easily say Hardley, right? I'm gonna go with JJ because I really, really liked what I saw from him while he was at Oklahoma. and I could see him being that legit deep threat for us with his body, um, and maybe he can get in open space and make plays. That would be my guy right now on the wide receiver room. That isn't being talked about enough in J.J. Hester. That'd be it. Yeah, that'd be who I had in J.J. Hester. Would be that guy. 10 catches, 14 catches, 315 yards, a touchdown. That touchdown was pretty daggone electric. But yeah, really, really like him. And as I talked about, Ashton Kutcher and Quinsonberry being the pretty daggone good freshman. I believe Ashton Kutcher can be solid. He's more of a depth pickup, guys. I know you see only one reception, 24 yards. Believe he's a sophomore. He was a freshman last year on a playoff team, so maybe he can bring some talent. I think he's more of a depth pickup for this team as of right now. Going to jump into my wide receiver grade here. It's a B minus. It is a B minus, and it could easily be something like a C plus. Improvement is no and yes. We improved in the depth, and we improved in the way that we got guys that specialize in certain things that can be solid in the SEC, but we don't have the firepower like we did in the last couple of years with Barryon and with Dan Key. And that's being completely honest here. That is being completely honest. We don't have the, again, like the Barryon Brown that could flip it real quick for us. We don't have that. We don't have a Dan Key, that go-to guy, but we got solid guys that we can spread it around and maybe fill up their production. It's just we don't have a star player, and sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need a guy to go to, and we may not have that exactly. So my answer is no and yes as a B minus. Could definitely be a C plus. Definitely could be that. I see that. The reason that it is a B minus and not a C plus or a C is because of the depth and because of the experience in this room. And I think they can be solid as a unit. They can be solid as a unit. No one guy's going to be absolutely all SEC type of guy, but they can be solid as a unit. But yeah, that is my wide receiver grade and tight end grade in the 2025. Went over 2024's last year. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode number 40 here. It means absolutely a lot, guys. Thank you guys so much for typing everything in the chat here. I'm sorry if the audio was messed up. I'm sorry about the start of the video where I forgot to turn on. I forgot to unmute on OBS here with the streaming software that I use. Maybe able to cut that out on the Spotify thing. That's not that big of a deal. Thank you guys so much for tuning in here. And just as always, go Cats.